Have you ever wondered what the best way to start learning the Quran is? Well, keep watching to find out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If this is your first time here, please make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future content. Now, let's get into the main point of this video. So today I'm going to talk about some hints and some tips to help you with memorizing the Quran. Now, if this is your first time ever memorizing anything in the Quran, you need to start off with the very first chapter. Now, I say this for two reasons. One, because why wouldn't you start with the first chapter? And secondly, because this is the most important chapter in the Quran. The reason why I say this is because if you haven't memorized Surah Al-Fatiha, the name of this chapter, your prayer will not be accepted otherwise. It doesn't matter if you've memorized every other chapter in the Quran. Without this single one, it won't be valid. Now, the way that I personally learned this chapter was through YouTube. Alhamdulillah, a lot of these recitation videos will also have the pronunciation on the bottom of the screen or in the description. So not only was I able to listen to the surah being recited, I was able to follow along with the pronunciations as well. It also helped that it had the English, so I knew exactly what it was that I was reciting, and also the Arabic to help me pick up on certain words. So which is obviously has the added bonus of helping you learn Arabic at the same time. The next tip that I want to give is that, maybe if YouTube isn't really your thing, then I recommend you find a teacher. Now, luckily if it's Al-Fatiha specifically you're trying to learn, you'd be hard pressed to find a Muslim that hasn't learned this one. So not only can they listen to you recite it, but if they're a teacher specifically, they can also correct your recitation as well, should you mispronounce a word or a letter or whatever the case may be, which is obviously an added benefit that YouTube doesn't really have. So, and then the third part in terms of memorization that I want to get into, if you're more the bookish type and you prefer to memorize just by reading, I recommend you get this. This is probably my favorite Quran that I own, and I've got a few different copies. So the reason why this is my favorite is because whereas the other ones will generally just be in English or in Arabic and English, this has the Arabic on one side, the English on the other, and the transliteration in the middle, which again helps this if you're just someone who prefers to memorize by reading. You can just grab a copy of this, you can find it online, and yeah, that will definitely help you in terms of your memorization. The next bit I want to go into is, after you've memorized the Surah Al-Fatiha, if you want to get onto memorizing your next chapter of the Quran, I recommend you go to the back of the Quran, where the amount of verses in these chapters are in the single digits. So 3, 4, 5, and so on. Furthermore, is one thing that's really important to remember here is to always be patient. So obviously, if you're not someone who natively speaks Arabic, or if you don't speak a Semitic language that translates well into Arabic, such as myself, you're going to find this very difficult at first. And weirdly enough, the one way that I can recommend you overcome this is to keep studying. So, because many times in the Quran, you'll find certain words that are pronounced a certain way every single time. And then once you've learned that, the next time you come to that word in another chapter, you already know how it's pronounced. So the best way to learn Quran is to learn the Quran, almost in a weird sense. So yeah, that will be something you'll pick up as you go on. The final part I want to get into is, if you have any recommendations on how to memorize the Quran, please leave them in the comments below. Because if you leave a hint or a tip to help someone memorize a part of the Quran and they're able to do it, you get the reward for that, as well as the person who's just memorized whatever it is that they've just memorized. So not only will you be rewarded for your intentions, you could also be rewarded for your actions. At any time this person recites, any part of the Quran that you may have helped them memorize, you also get the good deeds for that as well, which obviously can only help you in the long run. So yeah, guys, that's all for this one. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, peace.